what's up everyone, I'm Shaughnessy and welcome to my channel where I dare you to live, be, and do. Look, I missed y'all, okay? We throw that little professional introduction to the side, okay? For me to say I missed you guys. I haven't been on here in a few weeks, but look, I'm back and I'm excited about this topic. But before we get started, hit that subscribe button, hit that like button, and please hit that notification bell because it's going to let you know when I have new videos and when my videos are up. Okay, so I just really wanted to just get straight into this video today. It was inspired by an Instagram post that I put up, I don't know, a few weeks ago. And it was a quote that I wrote. And the quote said that your path doesn't have to look like anybody else's, right? And I wrote that because I had like back-to-back conversations about people who are amazing, right? I'm talking to people who are amazing. They have amazing talents, like so gifted, so creative, like so good at what they do. But they second guess themselves. And I'm also one of those people who have done that as well. Like, it's a common thing. You're second guessing yourself maybe because you've seen somebody doing what you want to do and you're not there yet. You're second guessing your methods because maybe they didn't work out just yet. You're wondering if you're on the right path, and so you're stopping and dropping it and looking like, okay, what else can I add to this? Am I doing it right? And so I want you guys to really get that drilled in your head that your path doesn't have to look like anyone else's. And honestly, I really don't think that it will. And I'm gonna tell you guys a story about my own life, okay? Myself, my personal testimony, okay? So I'm trying to make a long story short, so bear with me. But hear me out. When I first kind of figured out my adult life at 18, right? What school I was going to go to, what major I was going to choose, it was really based upon what I thought I should do, not necessarily what I loved. And so for those of you guys who know me, you guys know I got a degree in broadcasting and I use it, but I don't use it like that, right? So my school choice, my degree choice was basically me kind of checking off the boxes and being like, okay, this could work. I could see this for myself, right? But it really wasn't until I started volunteering at the church that I'm at right now and that I have been at and will be at, that I really started to see, okay, like I see it. And honestly, if I'm really being honest with you guys, it really wasn't until this year that I really started appreciating who I am in God and the gifts that He put in me, and really appreciating my unconventional path, you know? Because for a long time throughout my process of getting here, I didn't know what I was going to do. Really didn't have a title for myself. I really, like, have you guys ever just had a desire to be like, okay, this is who I am and this is what I do, and I just really want to love both those things? I get it. That's really what purpose is in some regards, right? You knowing who you are and knowing what you contribute to this world. A lot of us are just really hungry for that, and I totally get that desire to want to be there because that desire has really been the foundation of why I've done most of the things that I've done in the last 10 years. But in this year 2020, I really started to realize that it was all working. I just didn't take the time to appreciate it or see it because I thought that the things that were going on in my life had to look a certain way in order to be called successful. I thought that the things that were going on in my life had to be packaged and look a certain way in order for it to be called success to me, right? Because I was looking at other people and saying, oh, that's success. Oh, that's success. Oh, that's success. And most of the qualifications for success had to do with a numerical value. It had to do with how many followers I had on YouTube. That deemed my channel a success. How much money I was making, that deemed me a success. Although that was never important to me, I felt like it was important to others, and that's what qualified my efforts as successful, right? A lot of us do that. You know, if you're a business owner or, you know, you're working at a certain job, you qualify success for that level that you're trying to get to. And I understand that and I get that. But those qualifications will always leave you wanting and needing more. So in this year, I've really reflected and seen like, wow, my path has been so unconventional, you guys. I went from undergrad, getting that degree and being like, okay, where the money at? What's next? Like, we here, you know, she's smart, she's pretty, she's qualified, where's the jobs? And then got smacked in the face like, baby girl, we have nothing for you. And I was stuck. And I said, okay, well, what's next? And I was literally stuck, you know, not knowing. And so I really had to do some deep down work in myself. And through that work that I did, I really found God for real. I really started to buckle down and be like, okay, God, what you got for me? What's going on here? Who am I? What do you want from me? And through asking all of those questions, I started building a foundation for myself of self-identity, self-love, healing. You know, a lot of you guys know my story about celibacy. I was able to take that leap and become celibate and challenge my boyfriend at the time, now my husband, to do the same thing. And now we've been married for almost 3 years and our marriage is so beautiful, so happy. And I'm not saying that to brag, but I'm saying that to show you the value of putting first and first being God. And so all of those things coming together, right? Sounds like success to me, but it didn't for me. Stupid, right? But this is the thing, when you're focused on the wrong measurements, then you're not qualified, right, to certain standards. But when you focus on God's measurements and God's qualifications, then you're getting somewhere. Now you're on to something. And so this year I feel like God really shook me like, Shaughnessy, look at your life. Look at your life. And I challenge you to do the same thing. Look at your life. Your path might be unconventional like mine. Okay, where most people were building the corporate ladder, I was at church, you know, for hours on end, editing videos and, you know, doing work for free that other people were like, okay, you're crazy, Shaughnessy. You're always up at that church. You're always doing something for your pastors. Well, you know, you could be doing this. You could be doing that. You should be out here on television doing these things and doing that, right? And I had like a full moment, like not too long ago, like maybe a few weeks ago. And I was hosting one of the events for our ministry. But not only was I hosting it, but I also was doing the pre-production, which means I came up with the idea, how things should look, what should be in it, what should be included. I ran a team bigger than myself, you know, a multi-person team. I worked with the camera crew to get the vision put together. I worked on the graphics. I was there physically moving the production along and helping and making sure that everything came together. And by the end of it, I sat in the sanctuary of our church and I thought to myself, I said, God, could it be that you put me in school to get not just a bachelor's but a master's degree just to do this? And I felt God speak back to me with clear understanding. There's nothing just about it. There's nothing minimal about it. And sometimes we minimize the things that God's doing in our lives because it doesn't look like what we think it should. Not realizing that it's the most impactful and powerful things that we could ever do. But because we don't have the numbers, because we don't have the clout, it's not qualified in our lives. And I just want to remind you that that is an absolute lie, you guys. Look at your life, look at your path, and look for God in it. Because when you do that, you'll get a newfound appreciation and purpose. And let me tell you this, okay? When you start looking at other people, you get distracted at exactly who you are. When you start looking at other methods of doing things, you get distracted. And when I think about God, He's just so different. He's so different. When I look at the things where I'm like, oh yeah, that was God. That was God right there. Yep, that was Him. It was things that I could have never imagined or planned on my own. There are things that I'm just like, oh, only could be him. And so why do we think that it has to go this way, or like how their lives are going? Why would it? Why would it? If you look at all of the history in the Bible, most of the stories are the peculiar ones. Like, look at David and Goliath. You know, for those of you who don't know David and Goliath, he was the one with the slingshot that took down the giant, right? And they looked for the strongest brother first, then the second, then the third, then the fourth, the ones that were in the army, the ones that were fighting. And David was the one that was watching the sheep and preparing lunch for everybody. And he was the one that did it. And so that's my point, is that the path is different for you for a reason. And don't look at your different path and get discouraged and think, wow, it can't be right. This can't be it. Don't look at that. You know, I know a lot of people really want to be married. A lot of people really want to find love. And you might look at other people's lives and be like, oh my God, you know, she said she found her husband on a dating app, or she said she found her husband in college. And well, I already graduated. I didn't find anybody in college, and everybody I met in college was trash and toxic and this and that. And so maybe it's too late for me. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Slow it down. Okay. If God has that husband for you and you're doing everything that you're supposed to do in God, it's coming. Your path doesn't have to look like hers or mine, okay? If your business is just not where you want it to be, and you know, you're looking at somebody else who bakes cakes and her business is popping, and you just really want to get there, you don't understand why yours isn't taking off. Wait on it. Wait on it. And this is another thing that I have learned, is that when God is involved, he is going to make sure that you're ready, period. He's going to make sure that you're ready, because what he never wants to do is back it up with the numbers, and then you are standing on the numbers, you're relying on the numbers, or the numbers you can't handle. You know what I'm saying? But back to your path doesn't have to look like anyone else's. That's really what I want you to remember. Your path does not have to look like anyone else's. Really, honestly, I don't think that it will. And so when you get on Instagram, you get on social media, and everyone is looking like they're doing it a certain way, and you're like, okay, well, maybe I should get on these platforms and do it this way, or maybe I need to hire this person to do this, and maybe I have to wait until I get a little bit more ahead and do it that way. Girl, who told you that it had to be done that way? Who told you? Keep doing it the way that you're doing it. And don't despise what you're doing. I just had a conversation with one of my friends today, and I was talking to her about her business. She's like, man, I'm doing so much behind the scenes, I didn't even realize it. And I'm doing so much good work, but I just never put it up on Instagram. And it's like, how, that's the same with me. Like, you guys don't see a lot of the stuff that I do. You don't see a lot of the production that I do or the work that I'm doing. You don't see it. And because you don't see it, or because people are not applauding me for it, sometimes I forget about how valuable the work is that I do. And that's the thing. Get unattached from the accolades. Get unattached from the response from other people, and get more attached to God and God's stamp of approval on what you're doing. So the next thing that I want to say is that if you're too busy following someone else's path, your creativity and your purpose and your way of doing things is going to be crushed. Did you guys watch Jingle Jangle? Loved it. Great movie. Look at Jingle Jangle. This man has so much creativity in him. He has so many things that he was doing. And the guy who was working with him, the one that stole all his ideas, he was so busy stealing and waiting for this man to come up with a new invention that when it was finally time and he didn't have anything left, he stole everything that he could. He was looking to this man, and this man thought that, you know, there was nothing left inside of him. He had no purpose to give, nothing else. But he did, because the creative ability was always inside of him, and it was always there to draw from. When you're looking at other people to copy, you're looking for other people to model yourself off of, you lose the creativity that God has placed in you. So, okay, yeah, maybe you're a a baker or an accountant or a hairstylist, and maybe you have seen some videos and other people are doing it, but maybe God's calling you to do it in a different way, in a way that's going to revolutionize the industry that you're in. But if you're so busy doing it the same way that everyone else is doing it, you're just going to follow and be in the pile of everyone else. And that's the thing, is we're God's children, we're God's daughters. And so the way that he's going to do things in our lives, if he's really doing something major and big, it's going to be different, you guys. It's going to be different. It's not going to look like them, because they're not God's. And that's no shade to a particular person, but I'm saying when you start to look at the world for examples, then you start to look like the world. But when you start to look for God, for your path and your steps, okay, then you start to look like God. And so this is just a reminder, you guys, your path does not have to look like absolutely anyone else's. And I keep saying this, and I really don't think that it will. So in that post on Instagram, I was like, look, your relationship's not going to look like theirs. Your business is not going to look like theirs. Your body is not going to look like theirs. Your finances are not going to look like theirs, because you have your own, okay? It's yours. It's going to look like you, and it's going to look like yours, and it's going to feel so good because it all came from God and your hard work paired together. So look, I don't want you guys to bring that toxic trait into 2021 of looking at other people and getting discouraged. I don't care if you have to mute somebody who reminds you or makes you insecure. Insecurity is real. It's nothing to be ashamed of. It's a part of being human. If somebody is making you insecure on your social media platforms, just mute it. Take a break from it and focus on what you're trying to do, because God has so much for you. Just don't get discouraged and lose your identity trying to look like somebody else's way of getting there, okay? Trust your personal process and trust in God. So I really hope that this video motivated you, inspired you. Talk back, okay? Talk back to me. Let me know, how you felt and what this video has done for you. Share it with somebody who needs to hear it, you guys. I am so thankful for what God is doing in my life, what he's doing in your life. And if we continue to encourage and inspire each other, the sky is the limit for us. Trust God, trust God, trust God. And I hope that we can stay connected. So make sure that you guys follow me on Instagram. Make sure that you like this video and comment and stay connected. I'll see you guys in my next video.